Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, or good night. This your girl Chick, aka Gypsy's daughter, aka the beautiful underdog. You have now been tapped in with the Dean again. What's good? Week 15, episode 15. I almost didn't think we was gonna make it. We skipped a week if you haven't noticed. I've been doing some things. Behind the scene, and I would like to say that, like, according to the digital world, the influencer world, I have a brand deal. I'm looking at it as a brand deal. I got a job, y'all. I got a fucking job. Yeah, me. Again. I got a big one again. I done did it again. Humbly. So this time I'm trying to just practice something different. It's something different, something that I haven't tried. It's just not saying much about it. But I'm considering it a brand deal. You know that Dean is mentioned on most platforms. That's Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, Spotify. Spotify and YouTube keep this thing official. So make sure you tap in and tune in. At this point, I would say every week because we were doing it every week. But at this point, it's whenever I drop something. And that's just because I'm busy, y'all. Your girl is busy now. Your girl is booking in demand now. Your girl got a schedule out, okay? So yes, this is what I'm happy about, y'all. I can actually say it's been a long time since I've collaborated with some big organization, period. It's been some time, okay? And then it's been some time that I can say that it aligns. I feel really good and really confident and really excited. It aligns with everything that I stand for. Like the quality over quantity. I want to talk about executive presence and use executive presence as an umbrella. But I want to talk about how you control the narrative on how people perceive you. And some of us don't give a damn. Some of us are very confident and very content with who we are. Some of us are fully aware of who we are. But I think just for the people who may feel misunderstood and not understand why, or maybe they are themselves unapologetically and still perceived wrong. I'm the type of person that wants to be understood, but it's okay if you don't, because every class has a different level of understanding. So I totally understand if anything said here, seen here is not aligned with you. But I do care how I'm perceived. It's certain things, places, peoples, and habits that I don't desire to be aligned with because it goes against my executive presence, how I perceive myself. How when I examine myself, when introspection is involved and I present myself out to the world, it's not to say I'm pretending or dolling myself up. I got to get myself all dolled up to present myself to the world or to control a narrative in a way that seems to be fraud or fake or flimsy, but to be mindful of how people are receiving. Executive presence is also not just in regards to business or work at all. I like to pit it with reputation. I like to pit the term with, like I said, I want to use executive presence as an umbrella. But I think when I think executive presence, I think reputation, personal brand. Also, when I think personal brand, I'm not just saying what you post on Instagram. I'm talking about literally when people see you on Instagram and they like how you dress and they like how you talk and they like how you write, but then they actually see you in person and see like, oh, it adds up. It checks out. This is who this person really is. This is the type of work this person really do. It's not about what other people think necessarily. It's a tool that I've used thus far. And I'll say, with an established career that has been on and off due to my own inconsistencies. I'll be truthful with you, but something solid, something that ain't moving, something that ain't going nowhere, something that I've learned is executive presence can be used as a tool to keep you accountable. It holds you accountable. Does this really align with you? That's going to help you find that career, that job, and that person. Clear it up too, because it's in regards to relationships as well. How many, I mean, I know I can raise my hand and say I have family and friends, platonic and intimate past relationships that may have not aligned with who I am today. That don't mean that I'm going to discredit them, dismantle them, defame their name or any kind of way. It just don't align with me no more. You know what I mean? It just goes against my executive presence with who I am today. How I hold myself accountable today is different than how I used to hold myself accountable. Actually, I could have used a little more accountability, a little humility back then than I have today. I'm happy where I'm at right now. Or I'm content. I'll say that, because happiness is fleeting. It's in and out. But I'll say I'm content with where I am right now. But maybe back then I could have held myself a little more accountable. So you know I'm the dean, and who would I be if we didn't look into some facts before we get to telling our opinions, right? Let's look up executive presence, okay? Hold on just a second. Let's read. It says, executive presence is the ability to inspire confidence in others and command attention, effectively communicating leadership, poise, and competence. It's about projecting a strong, and positive image that suggests you are capable, reliable, and worthy of trust. Essentially, it's the perception others have of your leadership capabilities. So, I'll say, like I said in the beginning, I'm only using executive presence or the term as an umbrella, because I really want to just touch on some of the breakdown of executive presence and how it relates to you for yourself, and how effective communication, leadership, poise, and competence, being worthy of trust, and leadership capabilities align with you based on the decisions you've made thus far. Using based on the presence or the term as an umbrella, just to use it as a tool, like how we can take away using it as a tool to hold ourselves accountable for ourselves. Because I'm a person who have like a very small support system. And a lot of times I just told a person from my village, like, I do so well when I don't have a safety net. And sometimes people will swear, but now they never had a safety net. And that to me is kind of selfish, because it's like, is that how you really feel? So have you never had any type of visual on what it should be or what you'd like to be and gone off that? Before we get into the breakdown, I just want to say a quick disclaimer that every class has a different level of understanding. So I totally understand if this class, anything said here, seen here, is not aligned with you. I've been told that I'm a bit abrasive, but this is a passion project. This is my shit. But if you know a professional that could use the message, by all means, send it to them. And remember that anything that you hear here, see here, remember that the dean said it first. Okay? Let's get into the breakdown and how we can correlate it with ourselves. Executive presence, the aura that's coming up off you. How are you controlling the narrative on how other people perceive you? And a lot of us, I know it's going to be some haters in the back. They going to say, I don't give a damn what they think about me. And now I'm going to say, it's okay to feel like, fuck what they think. I am me unapologetically. Because I agree, sis. I agree, my brother. But being mindful allows you to control the narrative. And my mama used to say, if you going to tell my story, make sure you tell it right. And can't nobody on this world, in this planet, tell you about me. Ask about me. Because depending on who telling you, it might be coming from somebody that's hating. It might be coming from somebody that's hurting. Or simply somebody that don't have my best image, by my best interest. Somebody who cannot read my presence as it is. So having executive presence allows you to remain in control of your narrative, of your story. People gonna perceive you how they perceive you. And that's something I'm learning. I'm learning that at 29, I'm late to the party. Hi, I hope it isn't too late. People gonna perceive you how they perceive you. But I'm learning also that if you hold yourself accountable, if you have a standard, if you aren't trying to make to be everybody's cup of tea, if you are following your own template, your own blueprint of your own executive presence, being mindful of how you're perceived, or being mindful of how you carry yourself, just period, just simply is that. Using it as a tool. Is this really aligned with me? Is this who I say I am? Is this who I believe myself to be? So when the boxes is checked out for you, people gonna be able to determine what's that. Because I'm telling you, curious people will investigate. And when I say investigate, they'll say, they say she like this. They say she's a hottie toddy. She's a hot body, busy body. Let me go look into it. And if that's not true, they'll be able to recognize that person is hating and hurting, or they blind as a bat. But it's up to you to be mindful on how you are presenting yourself to the world. Even if you are hottie toddy behind closed doors, you freaky nigga. I told you I like some freak. I'm grown. I'm a freaky nigga. I like freaky nigga. But you wouldn't catch me on that. Actually, if you know something that I don't know, you need to tell me, because I'm very mindful. And that's what it's all about. So let's get into it. The first one I want to talk about is confidence. And y'all know that I've made a couple episodes with confidence as the lead of the conversation, because that plays a huge, important part when you think you're going to lead somebody else. But we're not even talking about leading nobody else. Executive presence, we're using as an umbrella. Keep that in mind throughout this episode. But what I'm really wanting to get at is leading yourself when it comes to like achieving goals and stepping out on faith with your own endeavors, whatever that is, whether it's to go back to school, whether it's to start a passion project, whether it's to run a checkup, fuck a checkup and get it back. You got to have confidence to do those things, all of those things. Okay. How you present yourself as a leader, even when leading just yourself. Confidence. When I started Project EI, it started off as a loan signing agent. And I told y'all that in a couple episodes back. So I'll just say, people been telling me that I should start a podcast. I kept saying, how the hell I'm gonna start a podcast? I don't know nobody with a camera. I don't know nobody with a microphone. I don't know nobody with this, that, and the third. And I gotta have this, and I gotta look like that, and I need to sound like this, and I need a studio, and I need a place to be, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. All of these reasons why I couldn't do it, and that was the lack of confidence speaking. Because everybody know I'm a talker. I've been a talker. My name is Charmaine Elena. It means to speak or sing ballads. Look it up. I'm the only Charmaine with a J. If you spell my name wrong, I will correct you. Okay? But I've been hired giving my opinions based on seminars and small classes and volunteer events, things that were totally free. People are asking me, I want your input on this. But this is who's going to be in the room. So I want you to say it, but don't use no cuss words. And I want you to say it, but I want you to dress like this, because this is the type of, so you see what I'm saying? So these are the things that built my confidence up. What is something that you would use for yourself to get your confidence up, or get your confidence where you could just start? Because I'm still sometimes like, oh, I don't know, they might not want to hear all of this nerdy stuff that I like, and I'm really study for leisure. Like, I literally was just watching a YouTube video on the alpha female versus the beta female, and they don't really give a fuck. Maybe they won't even give a damn. What changed my mind around building my confidence, because I feel like I was a confident person. Like, I'm not like insecure. I just didn't feel like I was confident enough to do the things that I wanted to do, which was something like this. Having my own collective, my own space where I could be myself, and then have those who align with that come, and those who don't can scroll on past. And it leads me to my next breakdown, but communication. Telling people, the right people, what I want to do. Like, this is the vision that I have for it. Yeah, I like podcasts, but I kind of like just a thought type of, like, let's just throw some thoughts out to each other. Because that's how I talk in real life. I really listen to other people and their opinions on things. And then I tell them, like, look, this is what I learned on it. And they be like, oh, swear. And then it's like, yeah, look right here. Da, 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 da. Communicating clearly and effectively, or at least putting yourself in spaces constantly, consistently, because it's not easy, especially in 2025, especially since after the pandemic of the Pope pandemic, you know, aka COVID-19. After that, I see it's like it's not hard, but people have different views on genuine connections. But I'll say communicating and clearly and consistently, putting yourself in spaces that will at least teach you how to. And it's okay to, even if you think you're the master at communication, it's okay to take that seminar. It's okay to sit in that networking event just to see how other people are doing it today after something like a lockdown or shut down on a mass scale. You see what I'm saying? Conveying your message and your vision to people who will listen. Communicating in a way also that will allow you into spaces that will help you. Like, people will hear what you're saying. And oh God. I really hate when people be like, you gotta move in silence. You do sometimes. But after a certain level, like I said, every class has a different level of understanding. So yes, in the beginning stages, I don't recommend anybody telling nothing about nothing before it happened. But like, and yes, I do also agree with new levels, new devils. But there is something about telling the right people. There is something about bumping elbows with like-minded individuals and conveying your message and what you stand for. Like I said, exuding your executive presence, telling your story. Fuck telling your story, telling your truths. Being who you are unapologetically, but with mindfulness of society and the world's norms. Even if you don't align with what's on TV, what the world thinks, but just being mindful of how you carry your unapologetic self, you don't know who you might be inspiring. And you don't know who you might be inspiring and what type of things that somebody might have needed to hear in that moment that might take you to the top. Or somebody might say, I'm already at the top and I want to take you with me. You know what I mean? So communication, I don't know where the fuck y'all got that don't tell nobody nothing. I mean, I understand we got to be careful, but with the way that I feel today in 2025, today, recording now, I'll say I'm telling my truths. Me, Charmaine, the Dean, I'm telling my truths. That's what's got me this far, if anybody wanted to know. And it leads me to my next breakdown on how you'll always stand out. Something that will always pick you apart, even if you are in an oversaturated industry. Or, like I said, when we just focused on ourselves. You'd be surprised. Have you ever bought a car or some type of item and then you never really see that car until you buy it, but then after you buy it and you ride around, you see that car everywhere? Something that will set you apart in a situation like that regarding how you act, how you're perceived, especially in a world full of people who aren't self-aware and they piggyback and they copycat and they all of those things. They're still trying to find their way. I've been there. I've been trying to find my way out. And this is for real. And anybody that knows me in real life know this is for real. I've never been a copycatter person. Like, I've never been a person that's like, oh, they did it like this, let me do it like that. I will ask you, where you get that from? I'm checking the price. Can I get it anywhere cheaper? But if I see something that I like on you, I'm gonna rock it different. And that leads me to my next breakdown. Charisma. When I think of charisma, I think about how you flirt. Everybody flirts differently. Some people might give you a compliment. I am a fluent shit talker. Shit talking is my love language. I'm the oldest of 7. I have brothers. Mostly brothers. I have 2 little sisters, but I have mostly brothers, baby. I talk shit. That's how I do. Yeah. My grandfather, my daddy's daddy, told me that if they can't take a joke, fuck them. Charisma. That's charisma. What is your natural... Am I saying it right? What she say? She said, I got a natural Venezuela. The natural, the love, like the something that makes you just saucy. Like, what makes you saucy? What's natural about you that makes people want to listen? People want to tune in. And then, like I said, it ain't really about the other people. But you have to have something about you that makes you feel like, hold on, let me check. Let me make sure I look. You know what I'm saying? Because fuck what they think, but let me make sure that when they get to thinking, everything checks out. See, because some people going to be speaking from hating and hurting hearts. But when the curious investigate, we want to make sure everything checks out. So charisma needs to be on there. Charisma is something that you need to take. Charisma is something that we have to check within ourselves. And of course, that will vary for us all. It's very rare that your charisma will look like mine and vice versa. It's very rare when you look across the room and y'all got the same exact traits, something that's naturally embedded in you that makes you you. It's rare. That's what sets us apart. So charisma is important when you think about executive presence and how you present yourself, even as a tool, just to keep yourself accountable with how you present yourself, even if it's unapologetically. Now, when it comes to charisma, some people just have it. And some people, depending on their environment or how they receive the world, how they feel and how they believe that they can control their own narrative, some people click it on and click it off. Because I feel like depending on who you are and how bright your light shine, sometimes you don't want to be as charismatic. Sometimes it's just black and white. Like, let me get straight to the point. I'm strict and thick. I don't want to be here. No. The fact that people know you to be strict and thick, that's it. No. But that brings me to my next breakdown, which is credibility. That's something that helps promote that. Why do I trust you? Even after I know you strict and thick and you don't really want no side conversations, no nothing, it's strictly business. Don't call me unless it's about this. It's obviously credibility. When I think of credibility, I think about a financial advisor. Honey, why would I trust you with my money? Hello? Why would I trust you? Why should I trust you? And then you go into the conversations of, well, I have this MBA and money is all my life. And I have the knowledge and the wisdom and the understanding on this topic. I have mastered this area of studies. And here's the proof. And building rapport with others to promote that credibility, showing and proving. Like I said, whenever people investigate, curious people investigate, jealous people with them hurting hearts that I keep talking about, they investigate too. They trying to make sure you credible. So make sure that trust checks out. You got to make sure that checks out. So that leads me to my next breakdown, which is leadership. And leadership and credibility honestly go together real bad. They go together real bad because in order to be the leader, I would have to trust you. And that's where the credibility come in at. But with leadership qualities, when I think of leadership, I think of kids lining up, or maybe adults are in a line. We're in a line, we're going places, one behind the other. Whoever the leader is, with the leadership qualities, they have the vision. They have to decide, or they have the ability to decide. So the decisiveness to tell us whether we should go left or whether we should go right. And the people behind the leader have to agree and trust that this person is leading them down anything but a dark alley. You know what I mean? The vision, the decisiveness. Also, when I think about leadership, I think about the ability to motivate. Because if it's a team setting, or like I said, if we still one behind the other, you motivated me because I know that if I'm following you, that we gonna get there. We gonna get to our destination. And then also I think about teams. I think about the leader, whoever the leader is or the team lead is. I think about not leaving anybody behind. Even if you're a part of my team, we all need to get there. I think about the village that we build as mothers. I gotta make sure everybody's straight in order for this shit to flow. You know what I mean? So things like that. That leads me to my next breakdown, which is the gravity, seriousness, the dignity, the solemn manner, you know, to command respect. Period. Now, listen. You might not like me, but you're gonna respect me. Honestly, vice versa. As leadership, as a person in leadership, or regarding leadership going into gravitas, the seriousness, to command respect, but also to give respect, to command attention, but paying attention to what is needed in regards to my team, and in regards to, still, we're using executive presence as an umbrella for self. You see what I mean? Creating an impression of authority or influence. And when I say influence, I'm not talking about turn on your camera and tell people this is what you're going to do for the day and hope that people follow. No. I'm saying to share your authority, especially, like I said, in regarding how people perceive you, the narrative that you could be giving off. How would you create an impression of authority or influence in regards to yourself? I know one way would be simply and coming all together with the command of respect. No, it's a few things that don't align with me, and I just won't stoop to that level. And I command respect. I'll give an example. As a 29-year-old woman who is single, a single working mom, I'll say I've lived my chapter with me having my son and men seeing me walk somewhere and they trying to shoot they shot like that. But now that I am able and self-aware of my executive presence, I have seen a lot of different times now where men will hand me their business card. Because it's how I'm coming off. It's how I'm showing up. I'll give another example. I went on a date. I wore heels. It was a kitten heel. It was a slingback. I wore jeans. I wore a structured top. Something that shows my figure and it shows that I'm a little flirty. But I didn't wear anything too revealing because I didn't want my person who I was dating at that time to think that this was a sexual or a physical connection. I want to get to know who you are. So I showed you that, yeah, I have a tattoo on my chest and yeah, it's an elephant, but you don't see any cleavage. And yes, I wore heels to let you know that I'm not in a rush. That is a way that you can command respect, show authority, and let it be known that I'm in control of this narrative, that how you perceive me. And you're going to think whatever. And that leads me to my final point, appearance. And y'all probably thought that maybe she would have started with that one. No, I didn't start with that one because it's not all about, when you think of executive presence as an umbrella for self, using it as a tool to stay mindful. You don't really start with appearance because that's what everybody thinks. People think, oh, I'm going to get my hair done and people will see me as a person that keep my hair done. When you know that ain't the case. Oh, I got my nails done. I feel better. I look good. I feel good. And that's true. You look good. You feel good. You perform better. But in reality, appearance is not all it is. That's not it. That's not the finishing. Because I've met people who look really good and they're really shitty at the core. And I know people that look not so good. Maybe not. You know, maybe you're not my type. Okay, you're not my type. But those turned out to be the coolest motherfuckers. So appearance is not my starting point. It's the way that I'll finish. And I'll go back to what I wore on the date. And I think about all my dates. And every time that I present myself to someone else, they gonna think whatever they think. But it allows me to stay in charge. I control the narrative if I'm mindful. If I am aware of my own blueprint, my own template of what I believe to be my own executive presence. How I present myself and how I stay in charge of the narrative. And I'll say, I know for a fact that I got a rack in the front and the back. And anybody that know me in real life can see it. It ain't no secret, no matter what I wear. But when I think about being in charge of the narrative, being in charge, exuding my executive presence in regards to how people perceive me, and we're just using executive presence as an umbrella. So this is really for self. Fuck what they think. Because some people be hating and some people be hurting, but I don't want to be known. When I think about it, I don't want to be solely known for a person who have a rack in the front and the back and always got her titties out. Or she always got her ass out. Yeah, you can see it. I'm grown. I'm flirty. But at the same time, I don't want you to know me just for that. And another example of that is when I was in barber college, I knew that I was a girly girl and I was a prissy woman and I like to be cute. And that's why I chose grooming. That's why I chose grooming as a profession, as another passion project. I knew that no matter how pretty I was in a male-dominated field or a field that was dominantly serving men, no matter how cute and pretty and prissy I wanted to be and I looked on the outside, in regards to appearance, how people perceive me, I still had to learn that skill. And that's why I chose executive presence as a topic for episode 15. Because executive presence is the umbrella. Don't get confused by the word executive, thinking that it has to be in regards to work or business, because it doesn't. Executive presence can be very much used just for self. Again, we used it today as an umbrella, as a way to break down how you should carry yourself. And I'm not saying what you should do or what you shouldn't do. You're going to do what you do. Because every class has a different level of understanding. So I totally understand if anything said here or seen here is not aligned with you. But it can be executive presence, the term and the breakdown that I use today can be used as a tool and a template. It will be used as a template and a blueprint of your own for yourself to be mindful, just to be mindful. For those of us, like I said in the beginning, I started with a very small support system, but I knew that I wanted to be able to hold myself accountable. And I know that I would like people to feel me and understand me. But in most cases, in a lot of cases, for those who are not my people, they probably gonna perceive me wrong. They could be telling my story on my behalf from a place of hate or hurt. And I just want that for those who investigate, those that are curious, and those who are like-minded to the hate, like-minded to the hurt, when they investigate, I want things to check out. I want to be in charge of the narrative on how people perceive me. These people gonna think whatever. But when they do their investigations, the curious, the haters, those that are hurt, those that are simply just not seen, it's just a simple misunderstanding. You just make sure that you are in charge and in control of your narrative, of your story. If they gonna tell your story, make sure they tell it right. That's what my mama would say. Shout out to you. Listen, I want to thank y'all for y'all time. If you're new here or if you've been here before, welcome back. You have been tapped in today with the Dean, a.k.a. Gypsy's daughter, a.k.a. the beautiful underdog. You know we are on most platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and Spotify. Spotify, YouTube, that keep this thing alive. So make sure you tap in for whenever I drop something now, because I've been moving some things around behind the scenes. This your girl Chick, a.k.a. Gypsy's daughter, a.k.a. the beautiful underdog, as the Dean. Signing off.